Warning, what you are about to hear is two guys talking completely unfiltered.
Cut. What are you doing? We don't do disclaimers. The show's called Totally Unprofessional for a reason.
I'll see what you did. You're wasting our intro time.
Yeah. Start the show.
So we're back. We got interesting things going on, which we will discuss at a later date.
Yeah.
Got
Some good news. Talked to Gio tonight.
okay.
He'll be here next Monday.
Next Monday,
So
okay.
we have the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view coming up next Sunday.
Yeah. How's it
So he'll
Sunday?
be here the night after.
Okay, good deal. So Gio's on set to be here Monday night.
Probably be a longer episode. He ain't been on in a while.
Probably be a much longer episode. And seeing as how I like women, I probably will not be at that episode.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Says the Star Wars nerd.
Hey, Star Wars. It's all about handling the lightsaber.
Yeah, your own lightsaber because you can't get no trim. Let's be honest.
Anyways. So, we didn't pod Friday.
No.
Schedules just didn't work out for 2 days.
I had family here from Texas, conveniently enough. You just came from Texas.
Yeah.
I had family come into town from Texas.
Did they bring any barbecue with them?
No, have you ever seen the show Fixer Upper?
Yes.
They live in Waco. And,
okay.
and my mom and Jake love that show, and they brought back a couple nice things for my mom and
nice.
some other people from those people's shops.
Yeah.
They live they said that the people from the show live like downtown, like central Waco, and that Waco's about the size of Visalia. So.
Nice. That'll work.
Yeah.
So, what kind of GSP update you got for us?
So the legality of this has started to unfold like we thought it would.
Okay.
So what's come out is that GSP lawyered up and found a good one.
Yeah.
And they made a deal that said, hey, we're a free agent, right? We talked about this before when we podcast. And they went ahead and said no. Well, then Zuffa comes out and says, we still have your contract. We're going to honor it. Okay. Now where do we stand? Well, GSP's lawyer comes out and tells the truth. And it pissed some people off. GSP's contract, it was before the Reebok deal because he walked away 3 years ago. His contract's language states that the UFC has a certain amount of time to offer him a fight. If that time and date is not met, he can void his contract and terminate their agreement.
Wow.
Well, they put that on the table during negotiations and said, hey, we want to fight by this date. If not, we're walking away.
Yeah.
UFC said, yeah, whatever. The date got closer. The lawyer said, you don't understand. You get this done or we walk. And they offered him Robbie Lawler. Well, if you know about Robbie Lawler, he pulled out of the Cowboy fight for 205 in New York in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He didn't say it was health reasons. He just said he needed to pull out of the fight that he wasn't physically ready. Now, that could have been, physically from being able to, mentally prepare for the fight, being able to train correctly, whatever the case may be. The lawyer did not specify why Lawler missed the Cerrone fight. He just said Mr. Lawler said that he was not physically prepared to fight. So by the UFC throwing that name out there after he had just pulled out of a fight made zero sense.
Yeah.
That was an unrealistic fight to put on the table.
Yeah.
Well, if you believe in conspiracies, then the UFC got in Robbie Lawler's ear and said, hey, you need to go talk to the media. Because Robbie Lawler came out that night and told the media, bottom line is if GSP wanted to fight, he should have fought me. Keep my name out of your mouth, and you should have accepted the fight if you wanted a piece. Now, mind you, again, the lawyer did not discredit why Robbie Lawler pulled out of the Cowboy fight.
Yeah.
So why is Robbie Lawler getting hot about this?
Yeah. Something's not...
He never once said, they offered me the same fight. My name was on the deal.
Yeah.
He just said, if you wanted to fight, you'd have took the fight against me.
Interesting.
So, interesting to hear. So that's where we are with GSP. His lawyer stands firmly behind the fact that they did not give a formidable opponent that made sense, that he was medically ready to go, and had openly said. And I think they're going to win in court because that's not going to hold when you have somebody who has publicly said.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh no, he said behind the scenes he's not ready, so they let him pull out. He went to the public and said, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And Cowboy backed that up in an interview. So to me, I'm pretty sure they're going to use that as legally binding.
They're going to say, hey, look, this guy wasn't ready to
fight. He openly said, yeah.
You offered him someone who was not ready to fight
yes.
just to
say, oh, hey, here.
Just to satisfy the contract. Wow.
So I think that he chose a good lawyer, and I think he's going to win.
It definitely sounds like it to me because...
Unless we get some other evidence that hasn't been brought out yet. Yeah. Now, that being said, how long this is going to take to play out, I don't know. Because chances are the UFC is going to try to throw a wrench in anything he's got coming up.
Oh yeah, they're not going to.
They're going to file an injunction and all that other good stuff. So interesting to hear about that. The UFC just going crazy with news. They laid off 15% of the UFC office people.
What?
Yep. Because they duplicated the same jobs between WMG coming in and the UFC personnel, and they let go of 15% of those people.
Wow.
Then they let go of 13 fighters. Bigfoot Silva being one of them.
Really?
Yep. Cody East another amongst 13 other.
Hello, Bellator?
Probably. So yeah, I mean they're taking people out left and right.
Making some cash room for something, you think?
No, making room for their people. They're gutting this because this is no longer Zuffa's thing. This is not the UFC anymore. This is an agency who is the majority owner. That there's now stockholders in this thing, as we talked about before. Yeah. The famous people, the athletes, the actors that are all represented by this company are now shareholders in the UFC.
This place is going to start taking a shit and watch everybody jump ship.
It very well could be.
Wow. Now, do they come out and start injunctioning people from fighting somewhere else, even if they're bankrupt?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I wonder what the contract says with that.
I'm not, that deep into it. What I do know is, along with that, they named the co-main event for UFC 207.
Okay.
It will be Dominic Cruz defending his title at bantamweight against Cody No Love Garbrandt.
Nice.
So Garbrandt got his shot. So far, and I'm betting we're going to hear it tomorrow after this podcast is already recorded, TJ Dillashaw is going to have some shit to say.
Yes, he is.
Because he openly said, I will not take a fight unless it's for that belt.
Yeah. So why wouldn't he say something? I mean, that's what he wanted.
No Love made sense. And we've said this before. If it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And No Love made sense. It did.
Wow.
It made the dollar. It's going to make dollars. It makes sense. They've been talking shit to each other. No Love's undefeated. And he's been blasting people left and right. Cruz is that guy that everybody sees and goes, he's so technical, he's untouchable. You can't knock him out. Well, we're going to find out.
Yes, we definitely are.
On December 30th at UFC 207. So it's a co-main event next to Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes. So that card's shaping up to be nice.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
They also announced
205 is on the 12th, huh?
Is it the 12th?
I think it's the 12th. It's that Saturday, right?
Is it?
We'll do a fact check.
I thought it was the 5th.
I hope it's the 5th because the 12th I've got to be at a roller derby match for my sister.
I'll tell you right now, I have the app, the UFC app. In other news with that, the whole fight night that's coming up in, it is November 12th. You're right.
Damn.
Jesus. The whole thing with the Sacramento card coming up in December. It's a fight night card. Michelle Waterson, Paige Van Zandt are the main event. Mm-hmm. Uriah Faber is fighting on that card against Brad Pickett.
I did see that.
Faber announced he's retiring after the fight. He's fighting in... now
he's working on 2 straight losses, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To Jimmy Rivera and Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
Sacramento is where he runs Team Alpha Male out of, so it's a hometown fight for him.
Well, that'd be a good way for him to end. Hopefully he can get a W. Guys definitely provided some entertainment in that scene for a while now.
So that being said, the UFC lots of craziness going on. So just lots of stuff that's still probably going to come out. McGregor still keeps hyping his announcement, which he says it's positive that it's going to be a good thing. We'll see, what comes of it.
Yeah.
hopefully it's not anything about walking away from the game. He did say that he will give up one of the belts if he wins. The issue that he had, because they said, well, you said they're going to take an army to get it off you. He goes, I've always made the right business decision. Even when I didn't like it. I've always made the right move. But Dana needs to let me have my moment. I haven't even won the belt, and you're telling me I got to give it up?
Yeah.
That's what I got a problem with. So, he made some good points. So, we'll see what happens with that. Eddie Alvarez keeps talking, shit to him on different things, different interviews and media platforms. So, we'll see.
We got the Broncos defense just mauling poor Osweiler, reminding him that he shouldn't have left Denver.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, Talib and Harris Jr. have done a hell of a job on Hopkins tonight, man. They have not let that guy catch anything tonight. He's been pretty much shut down. I mean, pretty crazy. They're 4th and 10. You got like 4:45 minutes, and he had to call a timeout. Nice.
I had to burn one.
You got any other major UFC news for us?
No.
My girl Misha Tate's not up to nothing?
She just gave Ronda Rousey a warning about Amanda Nunes. That's all.
Had a lot of NFL stuff over the weekend and then today, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's start with my favorite topic with the NFL.
Okay.
Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so last week he gets benched for Geno Smith. Geno Smith comes in, and I want to say it was the middle of the third quarter, right? Or was it halftime?
So. No, I believe it. No, it was at halftime. It was third quarter.
The third quarter.
Yeah, I believe it was the end of the third quarter.
He got pulled, and Geno Smith comes in, finishes the game decent. We're not going to say
not great.
It wasn't.
It wasn't even good. It was
Geno
decent.
Smith.
It was decent.
It was Geno Smith, is what it was. Okay, homeboy goes all week, gets all the snaps, comes out, tears his fucking ACL, dude. What kind of bullshit luck is that? Is that poor Geno Smith, or is that Fitzpatrick will always have a starting job? Because I've always said that Fitzpatrick belongs selling hot dogs in a freaking in one of the carts in the stadiums. But holy cow.
Here's what's even funnier about that. He comes out and says during the week last week, management gave up on me.
Yeah. And now what? I mean, and I think the evidence of management giving up on you is even bigger by the contract they didn't want to give you. They only paid you because they were out of options.
Because you were the best option.
You were the best option that they could find in the league. And I'm sorry, Tim Tebow's still unsigned, so you were not the best option.
Technically, Tim Tebow's under contract with the Fall League Mets and is not returned to football by the way he's hitting that ball.
Yeah, well, he's proven to be. He said he was a pretty good baseball player back in the day.
First pitch he's seen in the Fall League, he bombed.
Off a guy who should be bagging groceries nonetheless.
That's right.
Let's...
Willie Mays Hayes here.
That's digressing a little. So,
hit like Mays, run like Hayes.
Fitzpatrick comes in, they get the W.
Right.
Okay. With Fitzpatrick, it's always sink or swim with those guys.
Feast or famine.
Yeah, so you're either going to get a lot or you're not going to get anything. He already doesn't have Decker. He's got Enumwa, but, I mean, Marshall's hit and miss at best, so... Let's see how they end up. It should be interesting. Biggest surprise. Arian Foster retires today.
That surprised you?
Did you see that? Well, I don't want to say it surprised me so much as it probably was a weird time, like right in the middle of the season.
It surprised me that he talked about it. He seemed like the type of guy to me that would just walk away without saying anything.
Go quietly.
Yeah.
I think he had to give a little bit because they did take him to Miami, and they did say, you know what, we're willing to invest in you a little bit because we feel you're not done. This is a classic example. Now, this guy, Arian Foster, needs to get in the car and drive over to Dallas, and he needs to have a conversation with Tony Romo. Because Arian Foster's obviously a guy that sat down and said, you know what, this is not good for my body. And he said this, my body can't keep up with the pounding that the NFL gives it. He understands the beatings you take as an NFL football player. He gets it. He needs to go have a conversation with Romo so that there's no controversy in Dallas. Because I'm going to tell you what, if Romo decides to stick around, they're going to have a huge problem come next season. Okay? And I don't think Romo's going to go quietly. I really don't. I think he wants to go out on his own terms. Jones is going to have to make a decision now or the future because Zach is the future. He's going to get better. I mean, a lot of people will say, well, he's not going to get better. Well, you know what? He's a rookie. He's learning a lot on the fly, and they lean...
He still doesn't have their whole system?
Yeah. They lean heavily on the run. But at some point, he's going to have to develop into the guy that's going to win games for them.
I still don't understand this, especially right now. There's no Dez Bryant on the field. Stack the box, man up on the receivers, and let it go.
Nobody wants to do that. It's amazing how much Green Bay didn't do it. And that was the best run defense in the league. It was almost like they said, we don't think Elliott's that good. All right, dumbasses. How many games do you have to see Elliott get through the hole and get 15, 20 yards down the field before someone tackles him? I mean, he chewed up arguably what were two of the better run defenses in back-to-back weeks. So, stack the box. Make Dak beat you. I mean, I'm not saying he can't beat you because he may turn around and prove that he can. But at least then you're going to
put the ball in his hands and make him make the plays.
Well, then you're going to keep him honest at least. Yeah. You know, you're not going to let him run the shit out of the ball with you. Then Dak gets dangerous at what he does, which is rolling out, throwing on the run and running in. So,
and I'm surprised they don't run more design options with him. With as explosive as Ezekiel Elliott's been, and Prescott's athletic enough to run it.
Agreed, but you also have to remember that behind Prescott, well, assumably now you have Romo. Behind Prescott, there is not another guy, a viable option. You got Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not a
Hey,
Mark
he's
Sanchez
got a locker
fan.
with 6 shoes in it.
He does, and I saw it myself. But you don't have another viable option behind him, so you really, if you put Dak in those situations and he gets hurt, like I'm sure he got an ass chewing for that hit that Burfict laid on him when Cincinnati was in Dallas. You can't take those hits. You mean too much to that team right now. You're managing the team the way it needs to be managed. So you don't want to take those risks. So having him roll out, run those options, it's probably not a good idea right now. Romo's healthy. I bet you they open it up more and let him start to play a little more because if something does happen and he does get hurt, at least they can come in and bring someone in that's viable.
True.
You know, they're talking a lot about Romo if he accepts his fate, which is to be a backup either the rest of his career or at least the rest of the season. Dallas may need him at some point this year because, you know, if Dak goes the whole season without getting hurt, I don't want to say it'll be a miracle, but he is going to hit that college slump at some point.
Right.
And he may need a breather, a one-game breather, when they have a 3-game lead because they look poised enough to, I don't want to say run the table, but at worst 3 or 4 losses. So there may come 2 or 3 games at the end there where they're actually going to get Romo back in there so that Dak can take a little breather and gather himself before the playoffs hit. So should be interesting to see, though. There's always scenarios and situations we can contemplate, but I think them making the playoffs is there. They are going to have to contend with the Eagles this week, which after their win against Minnesota, I think everybody forgot how good Philadelphia's defense was. You know, not that stopping Sam Bradford is the NWO of defenses, but they did hold ground. And I don't think anybody thought they could do that. You know, Minnesota's offense is nothing to brag about, so you didn't really conquer some great offense, but you did hold down the fort like you were supposed to, and a lot of people written them off.
Beat the only undefeated team.
Yeah, after 2 weeks. I mean, they had 2 rough weeks back to back. So, Philadelphia and Dallas will be going at it this weekend. It'll be in Dallas.
Dak starting.
Dez Bryant may be back. It looked like he may be suiting up this week. I wouldn't rush to put him on my fantasy team just yet, but he may prove another asset because now they've got a big body to throw to for those 8, 10, 12 yarders, you know, and he could prove to be very valuable down the stretch. But so what else we got here? What else we got news-wise?
Jordan Parsons, who's a fighter for Bellator, he died earlier this year at the age of 25. Publicly diagnosed with CTE.
CTE, what is?
Chronic traumatic, I forget what it is. It's the thing that
trauma.
they freak you out about with the brain trauma and concussion.
Wow.
A forensic pathologist who first discovered the degenerate disease in the brain of a Pro Football Hall of Famer Mike Webster after his 2002 death disclosed the findings on Parsons to the Boston Globe, which published the report early Friday. He fought 3 fights in Bellator. He was 11-2. And he died on May 4th after being struck in a hit and run while crossing an intersection as a pedestrian. He wasn't even in the car.
Oh, man. That is brutal.
It says it's impossible that Parsons' CTE was caused by the accident because it is a chronic disease that develops over time.
That is brutal.
He began competing in MMA when he was 17 and turned pro at 20.
That is just brutal.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So there's the first MMA fighter with CTE. First of many, guaranteed.
Well, I'm waiting really for, I don't want to say boxers to start getting it. I'm sure it's more common in boxers than, I don't want to say anyone, but that's been the longer standing fight. And they put these bigger gloves on, and what we said, if you've ever been hit with a 12-ounce glove, that's not no pillow you're getting hit with. It feels like a ton of bricks. So I would expect to start seeing it more and more as these people start to pass away. They know you're a fighter, they're going to check for it. They know you were an athlete of some sort where contact was involved. They're going to want to check on it because they're going to want statistics to back up their findings.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you went and you checked half of UFC. They're probably suffering from some version of it, whether it's moderate. I don't think you have someone suffering severe that's active. It would impair your fighting ability, but moderate to what would be the lowest one? Slight to moderate.
I guess. Yeah.
Slight to moderate effect. I bet you that's real. I bet you'll find it in a lot of those guys. So
crazy. NBA season starts in 2 days.
Yes, it does.
Well, on paper it starts in 2 days. For most people, it doesn't start till February 1st.
Yeah.
But
we got.
So check this out. Dodgers suck it up and lose.
Oh, jeez.
And I hate to be the guy. Well, no, I take that back. I don't. I said Clayton Kershaw in the postseason is the wrong guy to have on the mound, and everybody went, "Nah, he won his first game in the championship, the NL Championship Series. He could do it. Let's bring him out for Game 6." I said, "You guys are wrong for doing this. It ain't gonna work." John Lester is the best pitcher in the postseason. I'm telling you. And he pitched Game 5. And guess what happened? The Cubs won and went up 3-2. They saved Clayton Kershaw for Game 6 to oppose somebody else from the Cubs.
Yeah.
Okay. All you got to do is show up and just do what you did during this season.
Yeah.
That's your job. He essentially, if people want to crown Peyton Manning as this great NFL football player who, yes, has a Hall of Fame career. Absolutely. Not denying that. But if you know anything about Peyton Manning, he only has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Now, people go, only 2? Some people don't have any. Correct. But how many times was he a bridesmaid before he was the bride?
Only one other time. Why? If you're referring to bridesmaid as didn't win the Super Bowl, like could have been one of the teams out of the postseason?
No, I'm talking as in should have been the team that won, or at least competed in the AFC Championship game because they were 14-2. They were 13-3.
But that list is a lot of guys. It's not just Peyton Manning. You can't.
In our era, it is Peyton Manning. Period. It is Peyton Manning. He is the best regular season quarterback.
Okay, maybe for you. I did grow up in the Dan Marino era. Okay?
Hey, hold on. Let's have a moment of respect for Dan Marino. Okay? You got to respect the guy who played his ass off like he did and never even got a shot at it.
I mean, I think they got second round maybe once or twice. I think he had a Super Bowl his rookie year. He had but it didn't quite work out. So, I mean, greatest regular season quarterback ever, that's definitely Dan Marino. Without a ring.
I'm talking about of my era.
Of your era? I don't even know. It might even be, if you're going to lay that comparison down, it could even be John Elway.
He was on the tail end in my era. But similar situation.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
He only had the 2 that he won back-to-back.
Yeah.
Similar situation, agreed. If it'd probably be 1 and 1A. I'll give you that. Okay? I'll give you that. 1 and 1A. So, that being said, okay?
All right.
We're looking at this situation right here with Clayton Kershaw where it's the same thing. This guy shows up in the regular season smoking people out left and right. What happens in Game 6 of the NLCS?
Laid an egg.
This guy gets fucked harder than a porn star. Legitimately just rocked. I mean, he had more bats being swung at him than a gang fight. It was ridiculous. And they weren't small shots. I mean, these were getting out of the yard left and right.
Yes, agreed.
So, for all you Dodgers fans, I'm not a Dodger hater. Per se, I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm not even in the NL. I'm not even like people. Oh, you're a West Coast guy, likes the East Coast team. Yeah, well, your fucking team didn't make it either. As soon as the Giants were out, I was like, now that if the Dodgers are out, I'm good. I'm good. Because I don't give a shit. If my team loses, I'm gonna be mad. I get that. I'm in the same boat. I'm gonna be mad about that. Especially this year. It's Ortiz last year. I wasn't happy about it. But when you got Dodgers fans, they're like, the Dodgers ain't Clayton Kershaw, bro. Sit the fuck down. You were watching the World Series from the couch with your team at home just like mine.
Agreed. Yeah, that's, I mean, I had a lot of people at work. I don't want to sit here and call myself I'm a Dodger fan.
You're a Dodgers enthusiast.
I would. That's what I would say. I am a Dodgers enthusiast. I watch them. I root for them. I've been to their games. When I root for someone, I come up old school Dodgers, Orel Hershiser, Kirk Gibson. Sadly, those would be the only two I could remember. Only because when they went on strike in '92, that pissed me off as a young man, and I didn't like it that athletes were going on strike for more money. I didn't understand the real politics of what was going on, but not that made a difference to me. To me, I was the 15-year-old kid who loved baseball and saw them go on strike when they got to do something that I was dreaming I would get to do, So, I don't know. I mean, call it what you want, but again, I don't want to say I know what Kershaw is, but like you said, he's got the history of it. He smokes people all season.
It's the same problem that before all you Dodgers fans throw your arms up and go, what about fucking David Price? You're right.
Same thing. Yeah.
$210 million is what we paid his stupid ass, and he disappeared. He's 0-7 in every he's not won a postseason appearance. He is 0-7.
Tough break.
And that'll be the ball game. Denver wins 27-9.
Okay, so I told you I was close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because Houston couldn't muster any offense tonight, I'm going to finish for 2/2 of a point. No, 2/100 of a point in the money. So I make my money back this week, $6.
Nice. Hey, it's not a loss.
It's not a loss if you're winning a little bit of money.
That's right.
It only cost me $3 to get in. On a brighter note, okay, so remember I told you, just off on the wall to fantasy right now. A lot of people will take different players. I'm going to have most of my roster left on Thursday. Thursday night game is Tennessee and Jacksonville. And I'm sitting with 51 points. And I decided, from what I hear, I listen to a lot of fantasy sports radio. From what I hear, it's always about trying to find those players that are that nobody's going to take, that will muster you some points so you can move up faster. I've got 50 points and I've got 300 minutes left, which is 6, 12, 18, 24. It's 5 players. First place has got 100 points right now with 1 player left. So I think I've got a reasonable shot. And the fact that I won my money back tonight, it speaks volumes about me and what kind of fantasy player I am.
You want to talk about something that'll piss you off?
What's that?
So last week I told you about how I put up 180 points.
Yeah.
The dude that I was playing, I would have smoked everybody else by at least 25.
Mm-hmm.
The dude I was playing put up 212 or whatever, 215.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch didn't even break 95 this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
That always sucks when you have the week of your life, but the guy you played had the week of his life.
He left a shit ton of points on the bench, that's why.
Okay, so I had one, I was telling you earlier, I was up by 23, and he got 10 for the defense right off the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I was up, but he had Lamar Miller and Emmanuel Sanders. Kind of worried about that. Well, I had C.J. Anderson going, so I thought maybe I'd be okay when he had the Denver defense going. So C.J. Anderson managed to muster 107 yards and a TD, which is a good night for a running back.
Right.
Lamar Miller came out with 6 with 61 yards. Sanders had 8. That's 14. So I've still got him by 2, and the Denver defense wound up with 9. So the original lead I had held up, and I wound up with points. I'm gonna move into the top 4 now in that league.
Ooh.
So you can find ways. These leagues are more about picking your way through seasons. I took Terrell Pryor out this year because I wasn't sure about him this week.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up Matt Asiata off the bench. He gives me 6 points. Pryor only had 1 against Cincinnati. So I don't want to say smart pickup, but a good substitution there for me when I really needed it.
Yeah.
Did you see that game last night? I texted you last night, didn't I?
Which game?
The Monday night or the Sunday night game.
No, I didn't.
You did not see that bullshit last night?
Nah.
Now, if you are an offensive person...
It ended in a tie,
It ended in a tie. If you're not an offensive or a defensive person, if you're one of those people who likes to see the quarterbacks launch the ball down the field, their running backs break long runs, and shit like that...
Hey, if you wanted to watch that, you should have been watching the OU Texas Tech game on Saturday.
No shit, that last night's game was not for you. Last night's game was about 2 of the best defenses in the league daring the other quarterback to beat them. The problem is that coming into these kinds of games, you're looking at, okay, who's got the better kicker? Well, Arizona's been having some kicking problems, as everybody knows. And Hauschka in Seattle's pretty clutch. He delivers. He missed Canataro? the kicker from Arizona.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
He missed one and had one blocked last night.
Ooh.
Okay. Then he misses the one in overtime, hits the crossbar. Okay. Hauschka to end the game. There's like 5 seconds left on the clock. It's a 25-yard field goal. Rips it to the left.
What was Bruce Arians saying was bullshit?
That he missed the kick. He said, he said, this is, Arians' quote was, "This is not fucking high school. You get paid to do a job. Do your damn job."
Ooh.
I didn't see if Canadero, I can't fucking his name, the Arizona kicker, I didn't see if he got released or not, because I didn't see anything come across. But Arians was pretty pissed this morning. It's like, you have one fucking job. You know, do your goddamn job. This isn't high school.
Right.
Yikes, you know.
All bad.
It's awesome. You know, it reminded me of that old fucking Dennis Green rant. You know, the Bears are who we thought they were, you know? It's awesome to see coaches get up there and call players out, because it proves that whole shit of do your job is not dead yet.
Yeah.
You know, too many times we have coaches, and my coach, Marvin Lewis at Cincinnati, he's one of the worst at it. Well, we got to get better. We got to do this better. As a team collectively, no bullshit. When Dalton fucks up, you need to get up there and say, Dalton lost this for us. He's not playing the way he needs to play. He needs to play better. AJ Green needs to come out and demand the ball more. You know, he needs to get up there and rip players new ones when it's applicable. You know, it's not always applicable. I mean, there are times where you just, fuck, that we couldn't do anything right, you know? Nobody could. You say those kinds of things. When the finger needs to be pointed, it needs to get pointed. And Arians did that last night, and it doesn't happen very often anymore. Everybody's fucking PC. We can't put anybody on the spot. We can't make them uncomfortable. Fuck you. You know how much those kickers make? Some of those kickers get pretty good money.
A good amount of money.
And all you got to do is kick 3 times a game, 4 times a game. And sometimes you're not even the fucking kickoff guy. You're just the field goal kicker.
Yep.
So you don't even got to kick off. Well, what the hell? You know, I mean, but it was ugly. It was real ugly. I'm a defensive guy by trade and by nature.
You did see what happened on Countdown before the Monday Night game.
No. What?
Randy Moss put up a 28-yard field goal in his dress shoes. Just so you know how hard that job is.
I did not see that.
Just so you know.
Now, I could make extra points.
Yeah.
We get back to old school extra
I was just
points.
saying, not
even the new ones. The new ones,
anymore.
I don't know. I haven't kicked a field goal since I was in high school. I know I kicked like 2 or 3.
Well, let's just say this. Don't hurt yourself.
Why not? Now we got to get out there and kick a fucking field goal.
I knew you were going to say that.
Man, now we got to go do it. Just to see
and we got time right now, too, to do it.
Shit, you got to go tell Coach Sharton, hey, can I get one of them field goals in there?
Can I get one of those? Where's your holder?
I probably wouldn't even get the ball like 5 feet off the air.
Be all bad.
But yeah, I'm a defensive guy. So that game to me last night, man, I love watching Tyrann Mathieu.
Honey Badger?
Yes, I love watching that guy. That guy's a fucking terror from safety. He flies in, he blasts people up. Him and Patrick Peterson, they're not afraid to hit. You know, they are not afraid to hit.
Oh look, they just showed it.
Oh, look at him.
Clean.
What are they gonna give him?
They all did it. Each
damn.
one of them took a shot at it.
So is that again? That's fucking hilarious. Is that Dilfer in some tennis shoes?
Yeah.
That's not Dilfer.
Oh, no, that's Hasselbeck.
That one's Dilfer.
Yeah, that's Hasselbeck standing next to him.
Wow. That's
so,
amazing.
hey, Arizona, if you're looking for a job,
yeah.
Randy Moss.
Apparently, Moss can't. He's done catching, but he could apparently kick some field goals, some extra points. Of course, that's without a rush, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Your fucking Raiders.
Yes, my fucking Raiders.
They're making me happy as shit right now because I got a $100 bet on the table.
Financially,
right now,
they're making you.
And they're fucking 5-1. They're halfway to.
They're 5-2.
5-2. They're halfway to their win total. And I don't want to say they have easy games, but their schedule's not real difficult coming down. It's a real favorable schedule now. The games that I thought they were going to lose are done, and they got through most of them with the win. So it's pretty awesome. The Road Warriors, undefeated on the fucking road, man. It's hard enough to win in the NFL, but you do it on the road. Saints woes. Opposite, Saints play dynamite at fucking home. Can't do shit on the road.
Yeah.
Atlanta, the same way. They play dynamite at home.
You don't know who you're going to get
on the road. If the Raiders can fix those little lapses on defense that they have.
You know what their biggest problem is? It's not even defense anymore. It's penalties.
10 for 108
between the two
like
teams, 207 yards in penalties between the two teams.
Oh, man. That is crazy.
It is horrible.
That's ugly.
Yes, my fucking Raiders. And speaking of on the road, because they are playing the Bucks next week, and they were already in Jacksonville, they're spending 10 days in Florida.
They're in Sarasota for the weekend, or for the week. Yeah,
yeah, for this week.
I
for
saw
practice.
that. They were talking about that yesterday. I'm taking them to beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. I think that they'll be able to do it as long as there's no lag there. Being on that side of the country for a week will do something to you physically. So hopefully they don't start feeling it until afterwards. But I did take them to beat Tampa Bay this week. I think that they have something figured out on the road. They seem to be mentally tough enough to do this on a regular basis. So as long as the defense doesn't give up too much crazy shit, Carr and that offense have proven they can pick them up when they need to.
Again, Amari Cooper falls asleep.
Falls asleep?
Yeah.
Is that what you think it is? I mean,
I think in this point, in this situation, it was. I mean, their passing game didn't get going. Like, period. Like, they had some decent plays, but it never really got going. It was about the run game.
Yeah.
And when the run game came up short, it was the field goals. Their passing attack wasn't great, and I wouldn't say that Jacksonville's defense and secondary was stellar. I mean, they're underrated, I think. But to me, there was nothing that they did that the Raiders couldn't have proven the point of, like, hey, man, this thing should be able to be handled and make some key plays or big plays, and that didn't happen. They just flat out just fell asleep, in my opinion. They had some opportunities. Carr had some opportunities to make some plays that didn't get played. And the one thing that I'm not liking, and it's still a problem 7 weeks in, is at certain points in these games, the run is dead.
Yeah.
And they go no huddle. And they have success in this no huddle with these short passes to mid-range passes that's quick and it's on the ball. And then they want to stick with the run anyway.
Yeah.
And watch themselves just flounder. And that's why in certain games, teams have come back on them because they're like, no, we got to keep them honest and fucking run the ball. And they get stuffed and it's 3 and out. And another team runs down and our defense looks like shit and they score. Yeah. And then, it turns into essentially a shootout, which is not what the Raiders want to be in.
Yeah. And I'm watching the same shit with Cincinnati. I mean, they came out the first quarter against Cleveland, and they did the same thing in New England. They come out the first quarter, and they fucking look like they belong on the field with the best. And then they go flat for a quarter, And it's kind of like, all right, what are you seeing as a play caller that makes you think you need to change directions from what's working? I agree. At some point, you have to show that you can run the ball because they'll start dropping into a zone and making you try to run it, You're going to have to figure that out. But it doesn't mean you can't play with what's working. Yesterday, Cincinnati rushed for like 260-something yards. I mean, that's awesome because you need to be able to show you can do that against the teams that can't stop it. But at the same time, when they came out in the first quarter, it wasn't the run that was pushing them. It was the fucking pass. It was the short passes to A.J. Green. It was the short passes to Tyler Boyd. The short passes to Tyler Eifert caught a ball yesterday. It's funny that works and then they want to go away from it. Now, 21-17 at the half, after the half, Cleveland comes out and scores, and I'm like, oh, man, here we fucking go again. This is going to be some bullshit. It's going to be Cleveland this time. And fucking Jeremy Hill decides to rip off a 74-yard field goal. That was fucking crazy. It was awesome. I love watching that because it's exciting. I didn't think he was going to outrun that safety, but he did. Now let's get to the real meat and potatoes of it. How about my boy A.J. Green? The guy's a fucking beast. Fuck Benny. And fuck Phil, if you guys are listening, fuck both of you because you don't know what you're talking about. This guy and Julio Jones are 1 and 1A, the best 2 receivers in the league. We talked about why I don't feel like Antonio Brown's in that conversation. It's not because I'm a Steeler hater, because I am. It's not because I'm a Bengal fan, because I am. But the guy doesn't elevate to get the balls. All 3 of them are crisp route runners. Maybe not the cleanest, and I would probably say that Antonio Brown's the best route runner of the 3, but AJ and Julio are not that far behind. But what they lack in the route running, they also make up in their ability to elevate and get the ball and their ability to cut themselves open. They run themselves. They're all fast. I mean, Antonio's probably the fastest of all 3 of them, But you watch Julio catch the ball short and bruise through people for 8 or 10. You'll watch AJ Green catch a short ball and juke somebody out for 8 to 10, So the one thing that I don't see Antonio Brown doing is elevating to get the ball.
While I agree partially with Benny, I see your point. That Antonio Brown, you don't got to throw the ball up and watch him jump somebody.
He outruns the shit out of people, man.
Which he has a valid point about. But you can't take away A.J. Green and Julio Jones' ability to do the same, but it's just they have an advantage and you're exploiting an advantage that they have.
Yeah.
And anybody that says otherwise is full of shit, especially if you're a coach.
that you wouldn't take advantage of that same exploitation.
Well, you're
of that
supposed to.
matchup.
That's what you're supposed to. And one of the things that I saw yesterday is he got some one-on-one coverage, and Dalton didn't even fucking look his way. And it's what's agitating to me because the guy has proven tirelessly all season that he's the MVP on that team. Right. He's the offensive player on that team. I like Jeremy Hill. I like Giovanni Bernard. Tyler Eifert,
the way they split, though, they're not.
Yeah, well, they're not, but
because one week one shows up, the other week the other one shows up.
But Hill's going to get his carries because he's the power.
Which I don't agree with.
Well, I don't either in certain situations. Look at what.
Okay, let me ask you this: you've seen this now for 2 years. Do you agree with a running back that's split like that, or should you have a distinctive running back, and if it don't pan out, you go to the other one and stick it?
I am for that method right there. I think they did that 2 years ago or last year when they came out and they made Hill the back. Bernard was not necessarily the backup, but the change of pace. You knew when he came in they were probably going to throw the ball because he catches the ball better than Hill does. You knew when he came in, if he did get it, it was going to be some kind of fly or sweep or something to that effect. He can run between the tackles, and he's very good at it, but that's not what they wanted him doing because they didn't want him taking that beating. The problem they're going to have here is when he becomes a free agent, they're not going to be able to sign him. They're not going to be able to keep both backs. Somebody's going to pay that guy starting running back money because he is capable of being a starting running back. But again, I don't think their method to doing this is very good because they don't play the hot hand. They play who they think is going to have the hot hand, and it's like, give them both a couple carries, see what's working. Either the power back's going to work or the speed back's going to work. If the power back's working, then you go with it. Of course, Hill's dealing with a gimpy shoulder right now, so you don't really know how much he's going to be able to take. He only had 9 carries yesterday. He had $165, I think. I mean, so to make the most of it, yeah, he maximized his production per carry, but I'd like to see it lean more one way, you know.
It was nice to see Latavius Murray back for the Raiders.
What do you have, 38 yards and a touchdown, something like that?
So, he had 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. So.
He looked strong coming off of
healthy,
the injuries.
Healthy for a change.
That's his biggest issue.
Yeah.
Staying healthy. You know,
is the Raiders' next McFadden?
He was actually called that on TV. Yeah, they're like,
shit.
he reminds me a lot of McFadden. When he's healthy, he's money, but when that's the biggest issue is staying healthy.
Yeah, and it's sad to see that happen to a guy with so much talent too. You know, he could be a real critical piece of that Raider offense, but he's got to stay healthy. He has got to
Marquise
stay healthy.
Lee lit the Raiders up. Who you haven't seen Marquise Lee since he was drafted.
Yeah.
Out of USC.
Well, you're focusing so much on Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns.
Not even that. I don't think it was that at all.
I think he's proving he's a receiver.
I just think that they didn't double Hurns and Robinson because they weren't hurting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was a couple times where they had help over the top, but they never outright doubled them. You know, and for that, I think that like Lee was like, okay, like they've had some faulty defenders, and I can take advantage of that. And they put him in some good positions with his routes. There was no bombs. It was all mid range to short routes, and he attacked and moved well without the ball. He did get an unsportsmanlike penalty during the game, and then he told the media today what it was for. And he got busted for using the N-word.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Marquise Lee is black. And his statement was, I got flagged for using the N-word. Yes, that's why I got flagged. But there was also several others that were using the same words. And nobody got told anything else but me. Do you know what the fine is for that?
Well, it's probably like $100,000 or something.
It's $11,000
for using the N-word.
For using the N-word.
Wow.
And he goes, it was banter back and forth between grown men. He was in a sport where you're hitting each other and testosterone is running high. There were other men using that word. I'm just the one that got singled out and got the flag thrown on me.
Wow. Well, maybe he threw it out worse than anybody. I don't know how you can use that word any worse, but I mean, hence the problem.
You can't regulate that.
Well, I was going to say, hence the problem of we run into if you allow people to talk to each other among races. So that'd be like me calling another Hispanic person a beaner. Mm-hmm. You know, we're going to throw that around in public, and it's not offensive to either one of us because we're talking shit to each other. But, you know, a white person or someone outside of our ethnic background says that, and it's offensive. We talked about what happened with my brother in Texas. Yeah. Someone called him a beaner. You know, it's not the same when it's coming from someone of the opposite ethnicity. You know, it doesn't. It's insulting.
Yeah.
Well, if you allow people to do that as they're coming up through,
that was your phone.
That was my phone. Yeah, I thought I turned that shit down.
Nope.
It's the banter for for the payout for this week. I think I finished second overall in Freddy's League.
Well, good. It'll go towards a drink for me for it going off.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. Oh, if you're gonna allow kids, and because this is really where it goes to. If you walk into a Hispanic neighborhood, you're going to hear young Hispanic kids calling each other wetbacks. Mm-hmm. Much to the dismay of older people. It doesn't really offend people my age. It does if it's coming from outside the race, but it does within the race. It doesn't offend anybody. You know, you can call me that all you want if you're Hispanic because it really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything until it comes from outside the race. It's the same thing with black people. If you run through a young black neighborhood where kids are allowed to run amok like some Hispanic kids are, they're going to be flinging that N-word back and forth. You even hear non-black kids throwing the N-word at each other on a regular basis. And if they're not taught what that really means and how negative it could be, they're going to continue to say it. You know? So now here we got grown men who've probably never been told, hey, you shouldn't say that. You know? They're going to throw it at each other because it's just the way you refer to your race, you know?
Not only that, but how many times are you going to stop this game? Like, if one guy says it, then another guy says it, that you're going to flag.
How many times have we heard mic'd up?
Yeah.
And heard that start to come out and they blank it out.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that, you know? I've sat close enough, and you guys are going to a game here pretty soon.
Yeah.
I've sat close enough to the sidelines where, man, you can hear them talking on the bench, and every other fucking word is that.
Yeah.
You know, how do you regulate that?
Yep.
You know, how do you fucking regulate that?
I don't think you can. I think that's, in my opinion, that's just the NFL being overly sensitive.
That's the NFL being. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Anyway, I did watch the OU Texas Tech game because like I said, I had family in town from Texas, and originally my uncle's from Oklahoma, and so he is a big OU fan. They were playing Texas Tech. Good Lord, does college football no longer believe in defense?
It doesn't seem like it, does it?
The final score was 66 to, I believe, 52 was the final.
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, it was pretty ridiculous. It was literally the two quarterbacks just bombing on people. Baker Mayfield, who was a transfer 2 years ago from Texas Tech and wound up at Oklahoma. I mean, that was, you know, a storyline going into it, but it didn't even matter. One of the other things, Marcus McMaryion started for Oregon State.
He did?
And they played number 5 Washington, who handed out an ass whooping.
If you expected anything else, shame on you. When that game, I don't want to say it was announced, but when that game got closer and closer and it shaped up as to which direction each program was going, you should have looked at that and said, here comes an ass whooping for Oregon State.
Yeah.
If they compete, awesome. You know, if he comes out and he's able to shred that defense up, we cheer, we yell. But you should have expected him to look awkward. You should have expected him to have problems. That's the number 5 team in the nation. Number 4 now, I think, right?
Did they go up in the polls?
I think Ohio State, yeah. I think Ohio State got bumped down to 6, if I remember
for getting
right.
upset, yeah.
So if you expected that game to be close, you're probably not realistic. It's okay to hope. We root for him every weekend. We hope the kid does well. We're rooting for him to have good games. We'd love to see him get his dream to possibly play in the NFL.
He has 2 years of eligibility, right? Because he redshirted.
Yeah, he redshirted his first
2
2
years. So he's still got
a
a senior year and then another year.
And then one more year, yeah. Which is good for him. He get to continue his education. And like I've said it before, he comes from a good family. They're grounded. I'm sure his dad and his mom have talked tirelessly about your education. Let's finish this. You know what? Let's get you on the right path. So I'm sure he's going in the right direction. So getting an extra year of eligibility just helps him pursue that much more.
Right.
I haven't talked to the kid in a while. We usually see him in the off season out here. He comes and works out.
He comes home for the off season.
Yeah, it's awesome to see him. But
it's funny to see all the kids look at him.
Yeah, everybody's eyes get all starstruck. It's awesome. Not that we don't. We got a lot of appreciation for the kids.
I don't think that as adults we get starstruck, but we appreciate seeing somebody put in the work.
Oh yeah, because he's definitely putting in the work in the off season.
Yeah,
and he's a good example to say, hey, look, you know what it takes to be at the next level. Look right there.
Yeah.
You don't got to look no further. I wish that Andrew Worthley and Rico would come around because those are 2 other guys that they didn't go to as big a school as Oregon State, but they went down to Cal Lutheran and kicked some butt. But those are 2 other guys too who put in a lot of work.
Yeah, David's had a position change last season though.
Yeah, so still doing well though. I mean, the guys that know how to put in the work, you know. So it's nice to see those guys come around, and like I said, we point at them and go, "You want to know what it takes? See that kid right here? He's 4 months in the off season, and look at him hit those weights. You know, look at him hit it hard. That's the kind of determination it takes. So hats off to you, kid, or any of you guys that are out there putting in the work, old Danube alumni. So, hold on, another football thing here.
Okay.
Did you see the Atlanta game yesterday?
No.
It's overtime.
Right.
It's 4th and 2.
Right.
From the 45-yard line, their own 45-yard line with Atlanta.
Okay.
They get stopped.
Okay.
Leave Phillip Rivers a short field.
Mm-hmm.
They lose the game.
Why did they punt it?
That's the question going on right now. The right thing to do.
How much time was left?
Oh man, there was still like 6 minutes or something left, or 8 minutes in overtime. The right thing to do is to punt the ball in that situation and make Phillip Rivers go to the field if he's gonna beat you. Don't give him a short field.
Yeah.
You know, and they were talking about it. I saw the interview today. He said, you know, hey, I made a decision. It was an aggressive one. Yes, people didn't like it, but I trusted my defense. I trusted my offense. And unfortunately, this time it didn't work out. Well, I'm sorry, bud, but you're supposed to play percentages. That's why you're the coach. There's a time to be aggressive. Don't get me wrong. That was not the right time.
Yeah.
You know, they had been struggling, slowing down San Diego to that point anyway. So for him to say that, oh, yeah, it's time, or, oh, it was time to be aggressive. Nah, come on, man. You're supposed to be smarter than that. You're an NFL head coach. But that was another one yesterday where was a head scratcher. You went, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
You know, why the hell did you do that? You know, but that was another big one to talk about. It's just like, you guys blew the lead. You let San Diego come back on you, and then you make that boneheaded decision. It was a snowball for poor Atlanta at that point. You know, just a snowball rolling down.
Fitness information.
Mm-hmm.
C.T. Fletcher's My Magnificent Obsession is now on Netflix. So if you're into fitness or you're just a fan of C.T. Fletcher, his documentary is now on Netflix. So you can catch that. I gotta go ahead and watch that. Since there's no basketball in the morning, I think I might watch that tonight. Matter of fact, check that out. See how good it is. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I have to see if it's worth all the hype.
You really gotten into this guy, huh?
Yes.
Why?
Because he does. It's weird to me that at my age, at 29, that like there's been a lull in the fitness part of my life and the motivational part of my life. Many times in recent times for me has been, you know, going to the gym consistently has become more of an issue. And then the fact that, and you know, full disclosure, you and I no longer work out together because of our time schedules and the way that you prefer to work at night. I can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So it's harder for me one-on-one to just have that energy level. Yeah. When we were working out in the beginning, it was like, hey, we want to try this. But as we got more and more into it and more serious about it, it became something where we motivated each other, and it became a personal competition between the two of us. Yeah. Not that we thought like, oh, one day you and I are gonna, you know, have a competition one-on-one and there's gonna be a winner, but to elevate the other person. Like, I was gonna have to work my ass off, and you weren't gonna let me take a day off, and vice versa. That's no longer there. Now it's all on me.
It's a personal accountability
to find that. And there's times where I go to the gym still, and I'm like, I have a good day where I'm like ready to work out, and I'm like, let's go, and I go and I have a good workout, and at the end, sometimes it's just still not the same. It's just like, well, I had a good workout, I feel good, but it's like, there wasn't a whole lot of like, let's go, and that, like I said, that intensity level that comes every single day. And seeing some of his stuff, seeing some of these inspiring things, like the Steve Alexi thing that I talked about, you know, a while back with your brother here and everything, and Stevie Z, those dudes were inspiring because it was like, there's no excuse for me. There's no bitching on my part that can ever justify me not doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Because although what they're doing is inspirational to people who have those disorders and those problems, there's no reason why I can't do those things too. Yeah. They're not extreme tasks that nobody can do. They are attainable. Mm-hmm. And then you find this guy in C.T. Fletcher who's 57, almost 58, who's got monster arms for 58. But you see him walk around And I've seen him. I met him. The pictures are up there on my personal account. I met the guy. He walks around in pain. The guy's had a heart attack. He's died 3 times. I mean, literally, like, heart stopped beating 3 times. By definition, that's death.
Yeah.
You know? And he still shows up every day. And people come to him and say, I need help. I need you to help motivate me. Or I just need help to get where I need to be. I'm here on this level. But what I did before don't mean shit now. Because I'm trying to get to that next level. Mm-hmm. And you and I both know, whether it's a job, whether it's fitness, whatever the case may be, what got you there ain't going to get you to the next level. It's what you do and build on those things that get you to the next level. And this dude walks in every day going, if that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get. No bullshit, no crying, no pussy shit. You show up and you put in the work. And not only does he tell you that, he shows you that. And along the way, as he shows you that, he's right there with you. Even though he's not lifting necessarily per se every time that whoever he's working with is lifting, mm-hmm. he's right there next to him, screaming, doing the same motions as if he's lifting. Mm-hmm. And that to me was like that intensity, that like, that has gotten over and for whatever reason really struck a chord with me. And it's really like, it's a no-nonsense type deal where like a lot of these fitness guys that you see on YouTube or that you see in these magazines or on the internet, mm-hmm. it's a lot of, well, if you do it this way with the correct form and then you follow this strict regimen, which, hey, man, that's great for a lot of those guys. I mean, you see guys like, we met Phil Heath a couple years ago. Yeah. Like, dude's huge. Yeah. Like, no, he just won his 6th Mr. Olympia. Like, that's cool. And we got to say we met him. He follows a regimen. He follows these things and he's Mr. Olympia, which is great. But that don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
And we know that.
Yeah.
And C.T. Fletcher brings that to the table going, what I do don't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. You going to tell me not to train arms every day? Fuck you. I'm going to go in there and train arms. Again and again and again. You're going to tell me that I can't do something naturally? Fuck you. Watch me do it. That's the type of shit that I don't know if it's because it's just not sugar-coated or if it's just plain out the intensity in which he brings to the table. I've always been attracted to those types of figures. Kevin Garnett, a huge favorite player post-basketball. We've talked many times personally and on this show about his intensity level, about how every night he brought that. He talked his shit. He backed it up. He showed that intensity level every night. Guys like that, I'm drawn to. Mm-hmm. And this guy's another one.
He's one of them.
That I can just, when I see his videos, I'm like, God damn, I should be in the gym right now. Or when I've gone to the gym, instead of listening to music, I will turn on those videos and have that in my ear where I'm doing something. I may not be doing the same workout, but his shit's not all workouts. It's motivational speaking. It's telling his story. And he's an awesome storyteller. You know, and the points that he emphasizes, the things that he emphasizes in these speeches, they're things that like really resonate with me at this point. And it just, I could go home right now and watch some of those videos and be like, fuck, tomorrow morning my ass better be at the gym because I can't sit on my ass and not do things when you got a 57-year-old man who ain't, you know,
he's not making excuses.
Ain't nowhere near the physical condition to be like, hey, I should be in here every day. Like, I guarantee you doctors are going, hey, man, you're 58.
Calm down.
You're on the backside now. Breathe. Enjoy your life. And he's going, this is what I enjoy. Yeah. This is what I do. And I think that's the other part of it. Not only on that part, but one of the things I've really been, like, going back and forth with at this point is doing what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
And being happy about it. And not being afraid to take that risk of, if this is what you want to do, go for it.
Yeah.
And you see this guy doing that. He's not making money trying to sell you products going, my name's on this. I don't use it. But if you buy it because it has my name on it, bam. He uses all the shit that he sells. I mean, his T-shirts he wore the T-shirts and they were such a big reaction to the T-shirts. He had to start selling them because people were like, where can I get that? Where can I get that? It was an easy idea. Does it make him money? Yeah. But that's not what the original plan was. You know, He did this shit because he loves it. And as an adult and as a grown man now, I feel like I understand that and respect that and to a certain degree admire that.
that like he's gone out of his way. I'm starting to see that the more this comes along, as an adult, seeing people like this who are willing to step out into their own business ventures and are willing to take the fall, that if I fall flat on my face and it never gets off the ground, I'm gonna eat shit proudly. And it's really turned me on to more of these people like this. And definitely, like, I think a big factor in that was the fact that our timing in working out fell the fuck off. Mm-hmm. And there was a time where you and I set for a long time, and it was supposed to be a certain amount of time, and then it turned into an extended amount of time, and then an extension of an extended amount of time. And it got to the point where we both looked at each other and went, we can't wait anymore. Like, we can't try to figure out a schedule that fits both of us. Like, it's not going to happen right now. Get your ass up. Yeah. And, like, it really is something that, as I've gone along in this, like, it's helped with the consistency. It's helped with me. And you know me, I'm a no bullshit person. Like, I don't try to sugarcoat things. There are situations in certain people and age groups that we deal with where you do have to tone things down and have a filter. But me personally, away, like, full disclosure, away from all of that, me as a person, I don't care about certain things that like my people's perception of me. I'm me. Yeah. You can either be with me and be cool and respect me. Even if you don't like me, if you respect me, I'll show you that same respect back. But if you don't like me, I don't give a shit. You don't hurt me by not liking me. I don't lose sleep at night because you don't follow me on social media. My life isn't put up on social media like a lot of people nowadays. I don't give a shit. I do put up things that people can follow where you see pieces of my days, certain things here and there, but it's not uncommon for me to not post something for 2 weeks. Yeah. Because I'm enjoying my life. I'm doing things with my life that I want to do, and I don't feel like I need to stop in those moments and take pictures of that. That's him in those sense. You know, there's a lot of that of him being just like, and fuck you. Like, there's a whole video that's just like, overtraining, fuck you. People that said I couldn't do it, fuck you. And it's just him listing off things and telling them to fuck off over and over and over again. To some people, you're like, well, that's a bit much. Like, he just said fuck you 36 times to 36 different entities. To me, that's real. That's honest. Like that's what, I guarantee you there's a lot of people at home wishing they could do the same thing to their boss, to ideas that, you know, have been passed on, that they could be like, people have told them no, you can't, or they've stopped doing things that they enjoyed because people said that's not a good idea, you shouldn't do that no more. And he's standing here going, fuck all that noise. If you want to do it because you want to do it. Yeah. You know, and it really, like I said, it really strikes a chord with me that this is a big deal, you know, for me. I said this when I met him, when I shook his hand. I said, hey man, I just want to tell you thank you, that I appreciate what you're doing, that, you know, you motivate me to get off my lazy ass and do things. Like, as much as active as we can be, I can watch that shit and go, I'm not doing enough. And you and I both know how much I sleep at night. Yeah. And I still feel like there's not enough. I could still do more, or I should be doing more in that respect of being active. And so watching and listening to that stuff, if that's what it takes to give me a swift kick in the ass, then why not take advantage of that and listen to that information and that opportunity? And he's not dumb. You know, he does say certain things about, like, trainers will tell you don't overtrain, you need to rest, and, you know, fuck that shit. If you want to train. Well, it's just him saying, hey, don't make excuses. You know, he's clarified that. Like, don't use that as a crutch. Don't try to say, oh no, and then knock yourself off track. And being human in a world where, and I've said this on the show, I said this when your brother was here about Steve Alexi and those guys, that being you and not apologizing for it is the most badass thing you could be. Yeah. I meant that. And I believe in people that are like that. That I try to live my life that way. You know, in every aspect. That if you see me, I'm the same person you saw at work that you see outside of work. I'm the same person that you see coaching as you see, you know, the verbiage is a little different. Yeah. But I'm that same guy when you see me at the gym. Anywhere you see me, it's pretty damn close to being the same guy all the time. And it's not by, oh, well, I'm the realest person out here, but nah, man, it's just, I get so sick. We were just talking about the difference in what it's like to be growing up to be a kid nowadays and all that stuff. It's so weird to me now at 20. I'm almost 29 in December, that at 29 I can look around at all these people
just as I did several years ago when I made a decision to make changes in my life and go, that person's fake, this is bullshit, this person is just trying to play both sides. And I can do that from a distance now. Rather than having to come to me and happen to me, I can tell other people, yo, this is what happened to me. I can tell you what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
And some people go, and they run right into it head on, and it turns out as ugly as you think it would be. Yeah. And some take the advice and go, all right. And I'm not looking to try and get any credit for that, but I will say that you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna shoot you straight. That's one of the reasons why you and I are such close friends, that we don't horse shit each other about anything. Yeah. 10 years apart, you can tell me what you want, but that don't mean I gotta like it. I can respect it, but I ain't gotta like it, and it's vice versa. And it ain't never been with you and I where, hey, well, I'm the older one, you should really respect what I have to say, or you should listen to what I say. We both have understood that, like, hey, man, like, if you're being straight up and you hear something you like, take the idea and run with it. Yeah. So this dude is really something that's been, inspiring in his own way to me. Like, he came up hard. I mean, his childhood was not a great one. And he's told the story about his abusive father and, like, how, he beat him up when he was an adult and how it didn't make him feel any better. That it didn't help him at all. And that, that was, as much as he thought that was the route to go, that wasn't. I didn't grow up in a house like that, and so learning about other people that peel that curtain back, that are in a public spotlight and like, no, look, I'm a real person too. Yeah, that goes a long way. So,
well, good deal. Well, guess what it's time for?
It's time for our favorite segment, the new one that has been critically acclaimed.
We've had several likes on this.
Hell yeah!
All right, so it's time for our. You can eat a big bowl of dick. See if it comes up.
Sausages and buns. It was fine. It's not like anyone writes home and says, oh, God, I had the best tip.
Say hello to my little friend. Your hand, you son of a bitch.
All right, so it's your turn.
So it's my turn. So we talked a little bit about fantasy football today. Mm-hmm. So before the night started, I was in a very good position on DraftKings, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. I was in a good position. I had some good plays last night, and then I had a good lineup going tonight. That was, I don't want to say formidable, but there was some possibilities where some things went right. I could have walked out with a lot of money, not just the $6 that I won. So, you know who can eat a big bowl of dick tonight is the fucking Houston Oilers. Look at that. The Houston Texans fucking offense. Okay. All I needed was Fedorowski, the tight end, and Fuller to catch about 6 or 7 passes each. Didn't even have to be a lot of yards. They only needed to have 12 points. And on DraftKings, you get 1 point for a reception and 1 point for 10 yards. 5 catches for 50 yards would have given me 10 points for each. Would have put me in the fucking top 10. All right? Emmanuel Sanders could have done a little better, but fine. You don't often have a...
You can't put it all on one team.
Well, you don't have a night where 2 receivers on the same team have a good night. Demaryius Thomas had a decent night, So I needed Houston's offense to come through a little bit. Now, yes, they're playing the Denver defense, but you're talking about a tight end and a slot receiver. These motherfuckers are supposed to be able to catch little 5 and 8 yard passes all night. Osweiler could not hit an open fucking receiver tonight to save his life. He overthrew a lot. He underthrew a lot. He threw them wide a lot. So you Houston Texans offense, you can eat a big bowl of dick because you cost me some money tonight.
Fair enough. You don't mess with a man's money.
No, you don't.
That's like playing with my emotions, Smokey.
Exactly, like playing with my emotions.
Damn it.
So, what to look for? We got Thursday night. So, along that line, I've got a lineup that had 3 players tonight, and I got 5 more. And I am only... Okay, so when I started tonight, I think I was 56 points behind, and I made up some ground. I only finished 26 behind the leader. But then in these 2-game splits, there's so many people within 2 points of each other because they're keeping track by tenths of a point. So I had 3 good players tonight. I got a 5-player run on Thursday night. But I have exactly half the amount of points that most of the people in front of me have already. So everybody's sitting around between 90 and 102. I've got, 58 already or something like that. So I'm already more than halfway there with some offensive players that normally do fairly well. So I think I can be in a very, very good situation come Thursday. So we're going to hope for the Tennessee Titans to have an offensive night.
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray. Mariota.
Marcus Mariota.
He could have a good night. That wouldn't bother me. I don't know if I got to keep an eye on Delaney Walker. He's listed as questionable still.
Yeah.
I got to see what the hell's going on with that.
Issues.
Yeah.
So you're what to watch for is the Thursday night game?
The Thursday night game, more because it influences my wallet.
Fair enough. Thursday night as well, I believe. The Cleveland Cavaliers open up the NBA season with their ring ceremony and
that's
their
right.
banner.
And then they have game one.
And they have
scheduled
game
that night.
one.
That's right.
And if you've seen the layout of where the Quicken Loans Arena is versus Progressive Field, it's literally like a block away from each other.
Oh, wow. That place is going to be
So
packed
you
as
have
shit.
the ring ceremony begins at 7 p.m. in Cleveland for the basketball game. The baseball game starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So
Nice.
if you're into Cleveland sports, you may have a bit of a conundrum going on.
Might be a busy night for you.
Yeah. But my overall, what to watch for? Netflix, C.T. Fletcher's My Magnificent Obsession. Check it out. It's his whole documentary and story from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So
I might check that out.
Nice.
I'm not a real hoopla guy. I like some of these motivational guys. C.T. Fletcher's one. I like his story. More than anything, I like his story. And you said it best. For a 58-year-old man whose heart has stopped on him a couple of times already, to still be that intense in life shows that he's going to live every minute he can, understanding that the next minute is not promised.
he'll tell you he's living on borrowed time.
So, I mean, there's a lot of admiration for someone like that, willing to put himself out there still and not say, no, because most people, and I'm somewhat in this boat. Most people, when they're told, hey, you got to throttle back, you throttle back a little bit, And this guy does not. This guy said, you know what, fuck you. I've already kicked this bucket twice already. I'm still here. It means that I'm still supposed to live. I'm not going to sit in the back and wait for it to come to me. I'm going to run at this shit head on. And that's what it's real admirable about him to me. And plus I like yelling at myself in the mirror and yelling, grow, motherfucker, grow.
That's right. I command you to grow. Because I said so. Curl that shit.
Yeah. So, as usual, you can find us on our social media.
And on Instagram, totally_unprofessional. On YouTube, we have our YouTube channel, Totally Unprofessional Podcast. All 45 episodes are up. 46 will be up tomorrow. Pretty sure that you can like, share, comment, tell your friends.
Throw a middle
them.
finger, shit.
Yeah, throw the middle finger emoji on there. You can send us any of that. You got a topic you want to hear? You know who we haven't heard from in a while?
Who's that?
Listener number
I
12.
know, man. What the hell's he doing?
Sack of shit.
Acting like he's working and shit.
Acting all brand new. This fucking guy. We got to have him on the show.
We do. We got to get him back on here.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got some insight into life for us.
And like we said, we got Gio coming up a week from tonight.
Yep.
He'll be here. We'll talk some wrestling. And talk about how much pussy wrestling brings to you now.
We'll see.
That's just a shot at Manuel earlier for talking his shit. This guy acts like he ain't got skeletons in the closet or dirt. I got you dirt.
Yeah.
I got you dirt.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So, this has been episode 46. I'm Justin.
Manuel.
And we've been
Totally
totally unprofessional.